Hi, everybody. Welcome to Beyond the Backcast, where I am up here talk with Braydon Kenny about Batman, the animated series, and this week's episode is Demon's Quest Parts 1 and 2. How are you doing today, sir?
I was so tempted to shave my beard to give it the old Al Ghul, give it that forked looking like thing he's got on his chin.
Well, I mean, the goatee that if you put it together, it kind of looks like a bat symbol. I was kind
Yeah,
of realizing, like, that partway through the second episode, as I was
it
looking
does
at
kind of, doesn't it?
it. So, as I said, this week's episode is The Demon's Quest Parts 1 and 2, is the 60th and 61st episodes to be produced, and they're the 57th and 58th to air, having them air May 3rd and 4th, 1993. Remember what you were doing May 3rd and 4th, 1993?
I was freshly coming out of the Lazarus pit right after the Great Depression. Funnily enough, everything looks just like the Great Depression now,
Yeah, pretty much.
just with smartphones.
So part one was written by Denny O'Neil, and part two was written by Len Wein. So he's repeating. Was it last week's episode? Was Len Wein as well, or is it 2
I
weeks
believe
back?
so, yeah.
Yeah. So and yeah, the story is by Denny O'Neil and Len Wein, and directed by Kevin Altieri. Because yeah, I'm
So
thinking this is like taken from like a Rosh or Rage Al Ghul like a comic, I think, which think is probably probably named Demon's Quest 2, because I think the cover of that is like the image from like later in the second or in the second episode where like the shirtless Batman, but still with the cowl, and the shirtless Rage are like dueling or just about to or something like that. I think that's if memory serves, I think that's like a famous cover. And you
yeah,
were going to
so Kevin Altieri, he was saying in the production notes that like this was an episode he demanded when he was getting the job uh, for this show, and he like had a handshake agreement with Bruce Timm to get it done. And yeah, just as you mentioned, this is actually based on two comic stories. One is The Daughter of the Demon, Batman issue number 232, and The Demon Lives Again, Batman issue 244, both by
say,
Dennis O'Neil.
yeah, yeah, R.I.P. Denny O'Neil. Yeah, I think that one time the Toronto Comic Con in March had him here. Like I
Hmm.
think about a year before he died, I was in line and had a couple Batman in the Shadow books for him to sign. So I was glad I was able to get those done before he passed.
Yeah, he was a terrific writer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So this episode starts off with Robin. Like at first, I always thought he was sneaking back into Wayne Manor, and I was like, "Do you know Bruce is going to catch you?" And I was like, "Okay, I think this is just his off off the manor apartment when he's where he's at college and stuff."
Please use the
So
front
that
door,
makes a bit more
Master
sense.
Dick.
Or at least go ahead and sneak into the Batcave like Batman does. So it
Yeah.
doesn't look weird. Somebody's like crawling in a window on the fourth floor of Wayne Manor.
Yeah, and when he's coming into his dorm room at Gotham University, okay, for the kidnappers, who we won't say who the kidnappers are because we'll get to that later on in at least the first part of this. The kidnappers are waiting in his room for him to come in, and they decide to turn a flashlight on before knocking him unconscious. Why?
Well, just to get the surprise and be like, yeah, because he's probably like had his eyes adjusted to the dark, so like, haha, an extra surprise is trying to fucking bright flashlight in your face and just startle him further, being like,
Surprise, we're
say,
gonna wallop you over the head.
we're gonna hit you with this, wah, wah. That's the flashlight double hit.
Yeah.
Flash him in the face and hit him in the back of the head.
You know, that's the first thing that like Bruce said to him is like, how did you get caught? Like when he finds him. And then when he finds out, he's going to be like, "What do I train you for?"
It's like, well, I don't have Alfred here to friggin' watch my shit when I'm not here. So, and he won't give me stuff like in my own little friggin' back cave in my room, so I can't have like a good surveillance of the place. So I can't have anything to do that. So I gotta do with what I can with like the random apartment that I can afford. Because you know, friend, give me money for a better apartment. Everyone knows I'm your ward, man. Like, how come like I don't have a better place, man? Like, come
When did wards stop becoming a thing? Like it clearly
on.
somewhere between like today and like the 1960s, because I remember they were referred to him as a ward in the 1960s show.
Yeah.
What even is a ward? Like I
I
know
don't
in the
know.
medieval text I know what it is, but not in modern terms. Like
Yeah, because it wasn't even that just like a better way of saying a slave, I think.
probably.
or like half between like a slave and like an apprentice, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah. Or like in his case, Batman's like having somebody fix your rodent problem in the Batcave, like going to feast on the rats.
Oh, I know this isn't the Frank Miller universe, man, so I don't think that's happening.
I would not make a stretch that this is the same kind of crazy version of Batman sooner or later. It's only a matter of time.
So yeah, so it's like right away after he gets kidnapped by them is like where like it shows like Batman's like been looking for him.
Yeah, I think he said it's been like 2 days and he hasn't heard from him. And Alfred's also been keeping tabs. And like he's looked everywhere. And like Bruce is frantic. And he says, "Well, I'll still keep an ear out and like see what I can find out. By the way, some mail came for you." And that's when he sees this envelope, and inside is a picture of Robin being held hostage with this like dagger, like pretty much to his throat. And just as this is being revealed to him, mysterious man and his servant enter the Batcave, revealing they know who like Bruce Wayne and Batman are. So this is Raz Al Ghul and his manservant, and yes, he does refer to him as a manservant, Ubu.
Good dog.
Yeah, that was the best part. Is I was like, Ubu is pretty much Raz Al Ghul's simp, and Adam was like, "Sit, Ubu, sit."
Good dog.
Yeah, so Ra's al Ghul is a Batman villain that I've been looking forward to for a while in this show. Very much like Mr. Freeze, he only appears in a handful of episodes, and maybe that's part of the reason why his like impression has stood the test of time. Like we weren't like overly spoiled with him, but yeah, Ra's he kind of visually kind of looks like Dracula in like a green cape, even like with the like I don't know what you call like that high collar, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
I
Like
think I think it's just that it's like a high collar,
yeah,
just like a collar like a collared cape, yeah, instead of yeah having like a little tie, just like the rope for a tie or whatever, I guess, or whatever.
yeah. And voiced by David Warner, who we mentioned back in the Off Balance episode, obviously famous for Tron, and I believe he was also in a couple of Star Trek episodes. Uh, oh, you should know this. He's the Four Lights guy.
Oh, it's yeah. As I said, it's been a while since I've watched the gone through a TNG thing, yeah. So I probably would have didn't put that together,
Yeah, I
yeah.
think he was also one of the Klingon. Oh yeah, he was the Klingon guy who got assassinated in Undiscovered Country.
Uh, oh yeah, like yeah, I think yeah, off my shelf has just gone through those movies, and I think I need to go. I kept on forgetting that which one that one was. I knew it was like a later movie, but I couldn't remember what the number was. But yeah, I need to go back and watch six because I kind of like that one. Yeah, because they go to the freaking they Klingon like prison planet, and they ran
Hmm.
into was it Oman or whatever it is is the shapeshifter, hey,
Yeah,
the model. And then and then fucking what's his face from
Christopher
RoboCop
Plummer.
and that '70s show. Yeah, no, well that too, yeah. But Kirkwood Smith is one of the Klingons. or
Oh yeah.
he's like the Federation plan, the Federation president, I think, or something.
I would
Yeah, yeah.
have given money to hear him call Kirk a dumbass.
Yeah, I think he was he was he was in Star Trek before he was on that two-parter Voyager episode with the time guys, or what the fuck, the Krenim. There you go, the
Mhm.
Krenim captain or whatever.
So I wanted to ask you,
Go ahead.
with we've had like a lot of comparisons with like, these translations for like live action to animation. I mean, we know like Liam Neeson would eventually play Ra's al Ghul in Batman Begins. Who would you cast in terms of like this incarnation of Ra's al Ghul in live action?
Well, I think they kind of already kind of did in the friggin' bad Gotham show with friggin' Dr. Bashir as Raj Al Ghul or whatever, which I think was pretty good casting because they finally cast like a Middle Eastern uh, descended actor in the role.
Yeah,
That's kind
about
of what he is,
time.
so that's honestly where my mind goes because I thought that was pretty good casting. But yeah, if not him, I can't really think of offhand. But yeah, I think but automatically every time I think of live action Raj Al Ghul, it's actually him over. Even though I didn't watch Gotham, I think of him over Liam Neeson 100%.
Yeah. Well,
How are
considering that
you?
the show took place in the 90s, my biggest suggestion is Tom Hanks because then we get Ra's al Gump.
fucking fucking
What?
Forrest Gump
He's an
Raj Al
immortal
Ghul.
man traveling through the world and making his mark in history, just like Ra's al Ghul. You know what it takes to make a shrimp boat detective. Jenny gave me AIDS, Bruce.
Or actually, I kind of like just because I want to see him again. I just flashed Graham Greene as Raj Al Ghul for some reason.
Graham Greene. Oh my God. I don't know why. I can't get that out of my head now, but I don't want it to go away. That's kind of awesome.
Yeah, you got with that guy whiten up the hair a little bit, give him that
Yeah.
the way the two those two white streaks, and maybe give him a bit of a goatee going on. I'd be down for that.
Oh, who was he in Red Green? Like the explosives dude.
Yeah, I thought something like that. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's been a while since I've fought. I need to go back and watch that show. Yeah.
I guarantee you we can run into Graham Greene sooner or later at a Comic Con, and I'm definitely pitching that to him. He's gonna be like, "Who the hell is Ra's al Ghul?"
I, I'm surprised they haven't cast him on as somebody in an episode of Hudson and Rex because they seem to be hitting all like the Canadian actors and stuff, and he hasn't showed up yet. So if he's on this new season, I'm gonna fucking shake my head, fist to the higher ups with a hand, be like, fucking cast this guy already. Either that, unless they've tried and he said no, which I don't blame him.
Well, he didn't say no to Twilight. I know that.
Yeah, because even like one of the Ashmores is showing up in an episode of Hudson and Rex,
Oh, really?
and so is Tamo Pinkerton, or where the fuck his name is from Battlestar and that other show that Eliza Dushku was on, Dollhouse. Like
Oh, really?
like he was on that episode, and I was like, I think they like even like he was like went on accredited because I was looking at it and I'm like, that's fucking what's his face or whatever, and then I always feel bad for fucking up his name. It's like Tamo or whatever, like how you fucking say it. Then yeah, they didn't credit him in that. So I was like, that's fucking that's 100% that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he's from he's from the Yukon.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, yeah.
Right on. So he pulled a reverse Richard and Reed. That's the Yukon.
Yeah, you get the fuck out of there, man. I always think of the Yukon as like the Canadian Alaska. You're only going up there to fucking run away from something.
What does that say about Richard and Reed?
Yeah, 100%. Like, I think Richard more than Reed, but I think
Yeah.
Reed's just getting away from people, but Richard's fucking running away from something.
Yeah, I can respect that. One's running away from their past, one's running away from people.
Yeah.
Both are valid reasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Ra's al Ghul is in the Batcave, and yeah, he knows who like Batman is. So like he pretty much like just like let himself in, and he's like got another photo with him, and he says like I'm here because we're after the same person. Like my daughter's also been kidnapped by the same people the same night as your ward was, and so as this is happening, and we're kind of getting like a little bit of like kind of exchange because apparently like Bruce vaguely knows who Ra's al Ghul is by reputation, and he's talking about like I don't entirely trust you, but as long as like you've got information and I've got some information, I guess we'll like put our differences aside. So they're making mention that Batman notices there's like a particularly shaped dagger. It's kind of like a wavy uh steel look to it that has like a identification to like I think it said like assassins in Calcutta.
Yeah.
And so he's like, well, that's where we got to go. So before they leave, he starts to walk ahead of them. And Ubu like basically like smacks him away and says, Infidel, no one.
Infidel.
Yeah. Like, no one shall walk before the great Ra's al Ghul. I'm like, all right, the whole infidel thing, like, so bear with us, guys, because obviously there's some things that are here that have not aged well
Yeah,
with
yeah,
like, all
it's like
Middle Eastern
yeah,
depictions.
yeah, not that we're yeah, so this is from the early '90s. Not that that makes it better, but
Yeah.
at least
And
I think at least we know a bit better now than we did then. So so it's something at least I think so.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
like,
it was very very Aladdin, which I think came around the same
yeah.
time.
Oh
Yeah,
my
so
gosh. Ubu is just the genie, but not blue. All he needs is a little like ponytail thing at the back of his bald head.
yeah. Was there an Ubu in Batman Begins with the Liam Neeson Ra's
So
al Ghul
I've
or
heard there's like two headcanon things for Ubu because he does like make mention in the comics. I don't know if it was like a retroactive thing, like Harley Quinn, like have him appearing in this show and then appearing later in this. But there's two headcanons. One is that Ken Watanabe's character, the fake Ra's al Ghul,
was Ubu?
is Ubu. But here's my headcanon. Bane is Ubu in The Dark Knight Rises because we never get his real name, and he's a member of the League of Assassins, and he's like incredibly loyal to Ra's al Ghul even after being excommunicated from the League of Shadows. So that's my headcanon at least, because he got about the same build and the same look as Ubu.
Yeah, I was kind of thinking the more the Ken one time would be as I was saying it, yeah, but I'd probably lean that way, yeah, because you don't want to give like Bane two different variant characters from the comics, right? So
Yeah. I mean, it wouldn't be like this stretches thing out of the imagination, but yeah, no, we like that is the thing. It's like if you're gonna have like Ubu have him in the episode with Ra's al Ghul. But yeah, we have Batman and Ra's getting in his like plane that's like on the way to like Calcutta.
so
And
I guess in this version, he didn't get trained by Ra's al Ghul like before becoming like Batman proper. If they're just
no,
meeting now,
that's more of a thing like strictly to the Nolan verse. Like there's been a couple times like in Gotham, they're like, well, he kind of learned a little bit from Ra's al Ghul. And like sometimes like they've like kind of met each other in the past, but like he wasn't like his like sensei or something.
yeah, you were saying, sorry, I cut you off.
No, it's all good. I was gonna say like they're like talking on the plane, and I love how like Batman has chosen not to change. Like even though like Roz knows who he is, he's just like, no, I'm just staying Batman costume like this entire time. Like it does make sense when he is sneaking around and stuff like that, but he's just sitting on the plane, like he's just
But
sitting there in Batman costume.
he's not good. They're not going to Calcutta as Bruce Wayne. He's going as Batman. So
True.
he's going to be that's. being Batman, right? So
Yeah. But you'd think like he would just be like, I don't know, like putting on like a disguise or something. I don't know. This like nobody knows who Bruce Wayne is in Calcutta. Like,
well, again,
but
he's not there as Bruce Wayne, so
true. So yeah,
so yeah,
the
so but yeah, of course, though too, if you get like the random pictures of like you guys being beat up by some guy and gets leaked, and you're like, what the fuck's Bruce Wayne beating up a bunch of dudes in Calcutta for? Like, instead of hey, Batman's over there fucking doing his thing, so that's okay.
I mean, wouldn't be the strangest thing I'd seen a billionaire do while like a business abroad, but
Or
yeah,
it'd just be funny if like anywhere he went like that was outside the United States, he did just go as Bruce Wayne, but was doing Batman stuff, and it was like
yeah.
it was like illegal underground trading of just like pictures of like Bruce Wayne beating up a shit ton of people, being like, you can't believe this. It's this billionaire guy's just coming around kick people's asses. What the fuck's going on?
He can't do anything. He's got a team of lawyers. He's a trust fund kid.
No, like U.S. isn't going to fucking extradite him to somewhere else. Like he's a billionaire there. They're going to fucking keep him there as much as he can. So like, so it's just just like
I don't know,
legal like
man. How
trading
long
cards
did
with
it
the
take them
picture.
to like extradite Roman Polanski? Like it was like
They,
30
they,
years.
he's still in France.
I
He's
think he
still
got
there.
arrested like about like five, maybe going on 10 years ago. That like there was some like cooperation, but I could be wrong. Anyway, like that there was an arrest attempt made. I don't know if it stuck, but yeah. But yeah, as they're sitting on the plane, Ra's al Ghul's kind of like just kind of talking to him, and I forget exactly what he was like saying, but basically he's kind of giving Batman a picture into his kind of like modus operandi and kind of
And this is where he
go,
like name drops Napoleon. He's like, oh yeah, this one time
yeah,
Napoleon told me whatever the fuck he said.
yeah, because he
It's
starts
like,
having this like coughing fit, and like Batman goes to like help him, and Ubu like smacks him away, and is like, "No, no, he's my man to tend to." And so he's like, "I'm fine." As Napoleon said, "A strong will can overcome a weak body." And Batman kind
that's
of
it.
looks like, "What?" Oh, sorry, it wasn't that Napoleon said. It was as Napoleon told me, because that's what makes Batman kind of go, "Okay," like.
Did
So,
you ever watch the first season of Clone High?
yep.
Yeah, I like the one episode where Abe and Gandhi were making the Narc, and like Napoleon was their boss at the restaurant.
Oh my
And he's like,
gosh.
"Oh, Napoleon, I hate that guy. He has some sort of complex."
My favorite
Just me,
episode is when Tom Green shows up and he's just talking about ADHD.
plastic bag.
I'm an albatross. I'm an albatross.
Flap,
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 flapping
flappy
my
bird.
albatross wings. So anyway, ADHD.
Yeah, I can confirm that's more or less what it's like. But yeah, so we have them finally reach Calcutta, and they're I think they're like walking down the street towards where they're supposed to go, and that's where they get sicked on by these like masked mercenaries, and like Ubu and like Roz are kind of like taking a back seat, and Roz is like kind of watching from the shadows, like with a smile on his face as like Batman's fighting him, and even like Roz is like, yes,
Doesn't
it's
even
like.
Ubu like go and like help and Rish like holds him back. I think
I think so. Yeah, yeah. He looks like he's about to, and then yeah, Ross is like,
he's
"No,
like
no, no.
no,
Let's work."
he's like yeah, let him handle it. Yeah,
Yeah, but
fuck
like,
that
yeah,
guy. Fuck
Ross
that
has
guy.
such a hard on like watching Batman, like fight. Like again, I'm pretty sure that Ross is attracted to Batman, and as this episode progresses, not discredited that theory.
No,
So
he just wants him for his daughter. He's like yeah,
sure, his daughter. So yeah, they have this kind of tussle, and Batman manages to like take this one thug and says like like who are you working for or whatever, and he's like, I can't tell you, but I'll tell you where you should go. And he I think they mentioned like going to some temple in Malaysia or something, right?
yeah.
Yeah, because
Yeah,
like
it's somewhere I can't. I don't think they say that. It's yeah. I don't remember what they said, but it's Malaysia somewhere.
yeah, and that's one of the things I like about this episode is that this is like a globe-trotting kind of Indiana Jones, like James Bond kind of feel. I mean, Roz has
Where
kind of
in
always
the
been,
world is Rajal Ghul's bag, guys?
yeah. But yeah, like they're hopping from country to country, and like in terms of like scale, I think this is as big as we've ever gone in terms of like a Batman episode before.
Yeah, because I think before they just like go like outside of Gotham, really to like the outskirts.
Yeah, it's come a long way since Boss Biggis's prison camp.
So I can't believe they freaking got away with freaking calling them that.
What do you expect when your name is Boss Biggest in terms of life choices? It's pretty much like slave camp owner or like a Monty Python character. Like, yeah, so Roz is taking Batman in his like Jeep through like the rainforest. And the first thing I'm thinking of is like, behold the mighty rainforest, but look quickly, it's about to be burned down. Like, and that's more or less what he says. Like,
Oh yeah,
because yeah,
because he's like shitting on them. He's like all the billionaires freaking could do something, but they don't, and they just basically taking a dig at Batman. And he's like, "Well, I donate," and he's like, "Well, you need to do more than that. You need to have like probably do something with it other than just like give money because yeah, you're gonna it could save the ship." But that's why I'm here to sort of freaking save the world instead of you fuckers just taking money.
yeah. Well, that's the thing, yeah. Like he says, like so, like like humanity has to be ruled by force, and Batman's like, and I suppose like you're the person to have that force, and I love his response. He's like, I am qualified. It's like it's like okay, uh, yeah. So they like are driving around towards like the temple. But before I jump into that, I think it's worth mentioning, like, because we're used to, like, I think more modern depictions of Ra's al Ghul being like this kind of like lawful evil, kind of like head of like assassins, which he kind of is in this incarnation, but more to his origins is kind of like this eco terrorist kind of.
They're going, as I said, because they're going with the Denny O'Neil and then Wine one is like that because
Mhm.
I think that was like in like the 60s or 70s, yeah. So it was definitely more the eco terrorists, like more like an more extreme Ivy than what he is now,
100%.
just being like a general, now just like a assassin, like a secret organization leader slash assassin deal.
Yeah, he's pretty much poison ivy with like better resources.
Yeah,
So
one's been like what you said, like what around for like what 600 years? You said, I think.
yeah, yeah. And like that's like imagine like all that you can do in terms of like villain activity in like 600 years. Like
So I guess he's probably knows who fucking what's his face is not who is like the caveman that got
oh,
radiated by the
Vandal
meteor.
Savage?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I always fucking forget what his name is. Yeah, so I was probably run into him a few more than a few times in those 600 years, I imagine, because I think he's
Yeah,
probably like the only like older older character than Raish, I think, or probably one of
that'd be cool.
depending
Batman
if you
Highlander
yeah.
style.
There only could be one, yeah.
Yeah. Quickening. Please tell me you haven't seen those sequels. They just get worse.
The freaking second one's on that fucking random ass planet with a fucking
Zeist.
shieldy fucking thing or whatever the fuck, or like or it's to protect the planet from like the or some shit or some fucking I can't remember now.
It was
But
so
yeah, but yeah, but
dumb.
but yeah, I have seen them. Yeah.
You brought Michael Ironside into Highlander and you decided to bring him into one of the worst ones. Yeah, so we have Batman and Roz getting to Malaysia and to this like temple on the side of the mountain. And so Batman goes up the steps. What's interesting, and he makes mention of this later, he's the only one that gets in before the door shuts right behind him. and they're in this like kind of like chamber inside, and all of a sudden this door opens on the other side of the chamber, and like man-eating like Black Panther like comes and like sicks himself on him.
and attacks that. And then finally, Batman takes off his cape and cowl and kind of captures that way. And and at first I was like, oh, he's gonna fucking like poison it, but he just says, but it's just some sort of like knockout gas or whatever that
Yeah,
knocks the cat out. Because yeah, as soon as he like takes the his cape back off, it's kind of like per snoring. I was like,
yeah, he's
okay,
like
that's good that he
nighty night tabby or whatever he
oh
says.
yeah, exactly, yeah. Then Ubu, like, I think that's this unintentionally shows him being like far stronger than he is. He just
He
like
broke down a steel
yeah,
door.
and friggin' bent it in half and knocked it down. So I was like, I know they needed to get him to do that, but like they just made him like Bane style like
Yeah,
strong,
yeah.
basically. Which I know which you kind of need in a number two or I guess or whatever, but. Yeah, but that's I think that was a little too unintentionally like strong thing for him. But yeah, then
Yeah.
comes in, and I think this is where he basically points out. I just I was this dude's we were talking. I'm like, oh yeah, he was there. So that was weird that he didn't say to you know yeah us first sort of thing. And then I think it was like right away that he kind of figures out that or points out that yeah they've been it's been him he's been chasing or is it after this?
Well, they when they get to the like all three of them inside the chamber, they find this map. So essentially, the princess is in another palace. Is pretty much what the like the message of getting into the chamber. So the map takes them to Malaysia, and they're like getting into this airship, like flying over the mountains, and sorry, not Malaysia, the Himalayas. What am I saying? They're
Yeah,
already in
because
Malaysia.
that's the
You know what I
step.
mean? Yeah. So he's about to jump out of the pit, and Raz has another coughing pit, and he overhears Ubu say, like, "Master, we must get you to one of the pits." And he's just like, "Pit?" Yeah, it kind of sounds like remember back in Birds of a Feather when I heard a penguin call the lady Peach. He's like, "Peach." So yeah, he jumps out, and just as that's happening, there's this like rocket that fires from the mountainside, blows up the plane behind him. So like as far as he can tell, like Raz and Ubu are dead, and he manages to sneak his way into this like secret base inside the mountains, and finds Robin tied up to a chair. And I think as soon as he like takes the gag off of Robin, like Robin either like points out like it's a trap or like the thugs like get sicked on him. Batman manages to take care of them very quickly, and in walks this person. He was the same individual who took Robin hostage, wearing this like jackal Anubis looking mask,
Yeah,
and Batman manages to take it off very quickly. And yeah, I mean, if you guys didn't know already going in as Batman fans, like it's pretty obvious. Like Ra's al Ghul is the bad guy, and he's the one behind this. Like he's like, "Bravo, detective, you passed the test." He's like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Everything that I've been," or you know, he doesn't say, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Yeah, I knew it was you the whole time." Like he's like, "When did you
or
figure it out?"
or it was like basically like right away because he says like, how would you know that your daughter was kidnapped at the same time as Robin because they're like 20 miles apart at the same time. So unless unless it was you that did it initially or was behind it, yeah.
Yeah, and he mentioned like as you said, like Ubu didn't let him like go Roz go first when they were going into the Malaysian chamber because like that's when their Panther was sicked on him, so they wanted to test his metal, I guess.
And then every time they showed up somewhere, some people that whoever was attacking them knew they were there right away. So if and the only people that knew they were going there were the three of them. So it had to be you
Yeah,
and that stupid ass name.
yeah. Her name is Ghul. So yeah, so Batman's like, "Why would you do this?" And he's like, like I've been alive for 600 years. No, seriously, I've been alive for 600 years. And I've been looking for someone to continue my vision for seeing the world purified of corruption and pollution and like man's decay. And I've been needing an heir all this time, and I want you to be that heir." And Batman's like, "Pass." Like pretty much as like, "Yeah, let's go home." And Ubu's like, "You're not going home." And like we've had this bit we I guess we didn't mention, but like Batman's been pretty much like giving him like three strikes, like Ubu, because like the back in the Batcave, he's like strike one. Way back, I think like somewhere in like Malaysia, he gets a strike two. He's like, okay, that's strike three. So like he fights Ubu, who, yeah, as you mentioned, this man is strong enough to break through a steel door, apparently. And Batman manages to crush his knuckles. Like we
Yeah,
hear it, like,
yeah, it goes in for a punch and grabs it. Yeah, and then does like the strongman thing and just kind of and beats him that way.
yeah. And Raz is just like watching him like manhandle Ubu like totally with a boner. So he's like, yes, very good, detective. That's exactly what I wanted. Like, this is why you must be my heir. Oh, also my daughter loves you. And like, I would like to remind you guys that yes, like we do know in the comics, like Talia has this like more time to spend with Batman so that they do have like kind of a hot and cold kind of relationship, kind of similar to Catwoman and him. But in the context of this series, they've only met once. So like the fact that he's just like even Batman kind of looks like she's in love with me, like her. Like why do
She must
beautiful
be.
women fall in love with a rich man? I don't get it. Like
Yeah, she must be as must be as unhinged as I am.
yeah.
Being
And that's the other thing is like I mean obviously like the some of the chauvinistic approaches to Ra's al Ghul haven't entirely aged well, but then again the fact that he is like 600 years old, a lot of these things and like kind of the fact that he is a villain, it does kind of fit his style.
So I think I may have asked this in the last episode with Talia, but do you think eventually this version would eventually have Damien?
I think that they would definitely have tried to do that. Yeah, hopefully through
Okay.
better means than they do in the comics.
Yeah. Yeah, but that part I would actually have it properly instead of yeah.
They haven't retconned that, right? Like it's
I,
still.
I'm not the one to ask, but I hope so.
I hope so too. I don't know why they wouldn't.
Yeah, I think Doc would probably be the better person to ask about that. So
Yeah,
maybe if they if you know they're doing like a mailbag episode, we'll throw that out there and
yeah,
then see if that gets answered. Or we could just message them late after this, and
yeah.
if I remember, or when I'm editing this, I'll be
But yeah, so like like obviously like with like Talia there, like she's just kind of sitting there pretty like for most of the episode, both this and the other part, like Talia doesn't do much. I remind you, she was kind of like a femme fatale Bond girl in the last one, and here she's just kind of looking like Princess Jasmine. You know, actually, it's kind of the anti Jasmine because as
yeah.
opposed to I am not a prize to be won, she's like, no, I am totally a prize to be won. Like
It's like maybe you'll pick me.
you can be my new daddy. Yeah, so she's just kind of sitting there. Batman's like, "Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen." Um, but we have Roz start to have like a coughing fit again, and like Talia rushes to him, and she's like, "Please, I need your help. He's dying." He's like, "I don't trust you people. You guys have led me to three countries, and all of which has been a trap.
Yeah,
I'm going home."
yeah. Yeah, I think then I think this is like where they lower them into the pit finally.
Yeah, so like the Lazarus pit here, it kind of looks like you know that like kind of cliff inside of Mount Doom, but with like a green volcano at the bottom. And yeah, so like they explain like this like chemical bath, the Lazarus pit, which I'm sure all people listening to this already know, but for anybody who's not a Batman regular, is like this property that can, like bring him back to life because like by the time that they're lowering him into the pit, even Batman says like he stopped breathing. So like we need to do something if we're gonna do something now. So yeah, they lower him into the pit, and at first they're just kind of watching it like bubble over him, and then all of a sudden you see like the silhouette of Roz like underneath the water. His eyes and mouth like turn like blazing orange, and he like jumps 30 feet in the like a fired out of a cannon out of the Lazarus pit onto the rock, and he just starts like maniacally laughing. He picks up Talia and like lifts her over the head, kind of like ah. And I would like to make a mention here. I did not see the second part of this episode until 10 years later from this. So I had no idea for 10 years of my life how this continued. Like this is pretty much where like little Braden watched this and was just like, well, I guess she's gonna die. Like I guess Batman lost. Like
Yeah, yeah. So yeah. But yeah. As kids, like there was a time that if you didn't catch an episode on TV when it airs, it was lost forever. You never got to see it again.
and that's the thing with syndication, which was like how I watched the show. Is like just because they're like, we're gonna have part one to be continued, that did not necessarily mean that part two was gonna happen the next day. Like case in point. But yeah, that's where part two opens up, and I think Batman tries to stop him. He gets kicked away. Somehow, Talia manages to get free, and she just pimp slaps her dad across the face.
Yeah, I love that the fact that just a little slap gets him out of his crazy trance.
It's because he's offended that he was touched by a woman. Oh my gosh, like Ra's al Ghul would be such an alpha bro, like of like the modern world, dude. Oh no, he would be like totally a red pill, dude. Like Ra's al Ghul on like those incel forums, like oh my gosh. Yeah, so he's like, no, thank you for smacking me across the face, Talia. You see, the Lazarus pit does intend to bring me back to life, but it could its minor side effect is temporary insanity. And Batman's kind of like, cool. So I'm going now. And he's like, no, 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 no. I'm going to offer you one more time to give me
He's
my
like,
hair.
he says like yeah that even though I have the Lazarus pit, it won't last forever. So I need it, and I don't have any male heirs. So please. And he's
Yeah.
like, yeah, no, I'm definitely not doing that. You're a little too crazy even for me, Batman.
Yeah. But that's my favorite thing about like the running joke. Well, it's not so much a joke, so much as it's just like Raz's shtick is that he constantly thinks that Batman's playing hard to get. Like he's just like, come on, just be my hair. He's like, no. Like it's pretty much like Sideshow Bob when he's like, come on, leave town. No.
I'll be your friend. Oh, you're not nice.
I'll let you bang my daughter. Yeah, so yeah, he's like, well, if you're not going to be with me, then you're against me. So like his men like,
Yeah, so which just make sure that Raj Al Ghul is the first Earth Sith.
the first what?
Sith. If you're not with me,
Oh,
if you're not with me, you're against me.
only a ghoul deals in absolutes. I thought you said Earth Sith. I was like, what's an Earth Sith? I have the high ground, Obi-Wan. I am the high ground. But yeah, so I forget what. Oh yeah, he goes to like hit kind of like a self destruct thing on the side of like the pit, right?
Yeah, because is that now, or does he, or is this where he explains the bombs and it happens, or is that after?
The no, the bombs happen later when they get to
Okay,
because he mentions in here like anything that we have like destroyed we'll find in our like desert compound, and I guess Batman overhears that because as he's hitting the self destruct, the cliffside that they're on starts to like collapse.
Okay, yeah.
Um, Batman and Robin like grab the rope that like Ubu used to lower Roz into the pit, and they like use it to kind of ascend the side of the uh, it's like a not so much a skylight, it's just like an open like opening in the rock cavity.
Yeah, and I think it's them jumping on the rope is another part that they use in the opening and for seasons 2 onward with
Hmm.
the along with the Robin bike slide or whatever who's jumping up the rope the Ozworth pit kind of blown up or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. But I would like to point that even for Batman and Robin, there's no way that they should have been able to survive this avalanche. Like they
No.
jumped what is easily like 50 feet, like off the side of that cliff.
Yeah,
They're just like skidding down the bottom. Like,
yeah, and even Robin says they didn't even wear their thermal gear, so like they're just in regular like tights, in this version of Batman. So yeah, so like they should have like frozen to death, like if they had somehow survived that avalanche.
at least this Robin has pants. Like,
Yeah, barely.
yeah. But yeah, they pretty much like manage because like Roz and his people have like taken the plane and like they don't realize like Batman's like survived, but they're on their way to their next location and yeah, pretty much Batman and Robin like walk to Nepal like from the mountain. Like I don't know like how far that is a walk, but like man, their feet must
With
be
no
tired.
Sherpas, I don't think that's possible.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Well, maybe they use power sauce.
Yeah, maybe.
Hey, Chung Lo Ping died. Yeah, so yeah, they get to Wayne Enterprises, Nepal, and oh yeah, because he Bruce remembered hearing Roz make mention of something called Orpheus, I think.
Yeah, I think yeah, at one point, yeah, I did. Yeah, Batman was asking him if he remembers anything, and he's like, I heard the word Orpheus a few times, so
That's what it was.
I
Yeah.
wasn't sure what that was. Yeah,
Yeah, so he's like in the computer database and he's looking it up, and it turns out that Orpheus is the name of a satellite, and it's like positioned right above the desert outside of I forget which country, but somewhere in like the Gobi Desert.
yeah, no, it was the Sahara, so
I was
somewhere like
sorry, the Sahara.
somewhere around there.
Yeah, so he's like, well, that must be like right above where Roz's compound is. So Robin grabs a plane. He takes Batman there. So this is more or less the last we see of Robin, other than the very end of this episode. Like it's very frustrating when not only they introduce Robin in one of these episodes, but like they don't know what to do with him afterwards. It's like he wants to help. Like is he just like flying around like the desert? Like oh, I guess I'll like circle around until you're ready for a pickup. Like
Well, the two of us aren't going to go for Talia, so you'll only need one of us here.
that's where his mind's going. Yeah. So yeah, Batman manages to jump out of the plane and he sees like a convoy of these men in Middle Eastern garb on camels like headed towards Ra's al Ghul's base. And yeah, the obviously they didn't know where things in terms of geopolitical events would head in 10 years, but the sight of Middle Eastern men with AK-47s strapped to their backs and basically like shooting up into the sky with bullet fire is not a welcomed sight these days. But
Makes you
yeah,
say
Batman
that.
manages to,
Said whatever makes you say that.
yeah, could always ask old Ben Laden. That's a name I haven't heard in a long time. Yeah, so yeah, Batman manages to take over. Oh, he manages to grab one of the goons. It basically wears his garb as a disguise, and I love how like when he like jumps on the camel behind him, one of the thugs looks back and he's like, "Oh yeah, that's Bob. That's the same guy." Like like it's like you can't see his face underneath the mask. Like he's wearing.
Yeah, this reminds me of that one episode of the original Ninja Turtles cartoon where like Casey Jones goes to infiltrate like an office building or whatever, and goes into for an
Oh
interview and
yeah,
does
he's
has
wearing
this
the
like
hockey mask.
yeah, has this regular like Casey Jones thing, but has like a suit underneath. So yeah, so it's like obviously that's fucking Casey Jones, and he gets the job, and he's like there like doing stuff, and they have the hockey mask and all the fucking gear on and shit, and so like the pads and all that shit, and you're like,
What are you talking
how'd you
about?
let
It's
this guy?
Jason Voorhees with hair.
Like how'd you guys let this guy in the building, let alone give him the job and let him like stay there for as long as he needed?
So yeah, he manages to sneak into this compound in like the middle of the desert, where like all the guys are starting to together, and Ubu's like, "Hurry up, man! Like the operation's about to get started." And Batman's sneaking around in he's still wearing the garb that he took off the thug, and Ubu's like, "You, who are you?" Like sneaking around, and like that's the hilarious part is that we have this brief fight scene of Batman versus Ubu. He's still wearing the garb and like a bunch of the other thugs. It's not until like they overpower him and Roz is like, "Wait, don't kill him. I want to see." And I think I know who he is. Ubu couldn't figure out that this was Batman because like when he takes it off, he's like, "You!" Like he's wearing the mask underneath. Like so that's where we have like Batman asking like kind of what's going on, and Ra's going into full Bond villain mode where he's like oh yes, I do suppose that I should give you some exposition before I kill you. So you see, I have these bombs all over the planet that are going to blow up Lazarus pits worldwide, and they're going to spill their rejuvenating formula all over the world, flooding it with chemical bath that will bring back plant life and restore the world to its green form.
Oh, because also too that in like one back when Rosh was going through his crazy phase after getting out of the pit, he was about to throw Talia in, and
Hmm.
Ubu said like, like it works on the dead, works on the dead to bring it back to life, but it will kill a live person. So like yeah, so like, he was Rosh was doing like a slight Thanos thing. He was going to kill like just under half the planet because in where he was saying like the Lazarus pits will flood and they will kill people, and he did the calculation. It was like 2.5 billion or whatever, and like 800,000 or
Yeah.
whatever. So and I checked, and like in 1993, like the Earth population was like 5.5 billion, so it was just under half,
Oh, oh
or
my
just
gosh. So
a
he's
little
literally
bit
pulling a Thanos.
under half. Yeah, so he's doing like a yeah. So so it was pretty, if it was closer, yeah. But yeah,
I
so,
like
so he
also
was
that
saying that
Roz
will
did.
like help. Go ahead.
I also like that Roz did do the math. Like he wouldn't care that his plan would kill like even like a million people, but he's like, well, now that I've reached that threshold, let's see if I can count higher. Let's see if I made a bigger impact. And so he's like to Batman, just like, it's a great plan, isn't it? And he's like, yes, it's so clear to me now. You are absolutely pants shitting insane. And Roz looks pissed. It's like, did you want Batman's approval? Like I thought this was about you approving of him. And oh, I forgot to mention before he does his exposition scene, Roz is like, take off his belt, make sure he doesn't have any like tools or gadgets, which means like his men like strip his like shirt off. So he's yeah, just got like the cowl and like the bat pants, like just showing off those Bruce Wayne pecs. And you know that Roz is just like, thank you for that delicious appetizer. Mm.
No, it's just funny that they left the mask on, but they took his like shirt, like the shirt or whatever off, but left the mask on.
Yeah, I think he actually has a note about that where he's like, no, it is a mark of honor. It's like, all right, like you just like the Batman look, like it was just yeah. So yeah, they take him. Oh, they're about to take him into prison, right? And that's when Talia, who has done like very little in this episode other than what she's about to do here, she gives him a kiss, And as he's returning to the jail cell where his Raz's thugs are like, like holding him hostage, we learn that she's pulled a Frau because she slipped him the lockpick via French kiss.
But you thought that would have been something that Batman would have already had, like pulled a Rosa and already had like that like tucked away somewhere in his mouth, just so you can just in case he did get handcuffed. But of
But
course,
he's
he
not
needed to
going to
get
pass up on
that.
a kiss.
Yeah, yeah. Like
I'm
thanks,
going to
for
enjoy this.
like thanks. I already got one of these though. Spits that one in.
Yeah. Yeah, one's like jammed in behind his like left molder or something.
Yeah,
Like a Hydra agent. Like
yeah.
yeah, he manages to escape and like take care of the guards while like Raz is like to his men like begin the countdown. And so like they're starting to put the thing. Oh yeah, because like the Orpheus satellite is like linked to all the bombs if we didn't make mention of that.
Yeah.
So it's gonna like cause like a chain reaction. So all right, for having a no kill policy, Batman's pretty okay with like being ready to blow up an entire base full of dudes. Like I know like he's kind of between a rock and a hard place, but he's just like, yeah, I'm just gonna throw like like a match, like all that like the TNT and stuff. Like
Dynamite,
yeah.
TNT.
Yeah, so
Oh,
the whole like base starts like, like exploding around them and like all the goons are like and like they're all running all over the place. I think Ubu realizes like Batman's there. He has a brief fight with him. Um, what did he use? Like, did he use like a chain or something to fight him?
yeah, I think some of them then like ties them up like basically right away. I think.
Yeah, yeah. He kind of goes Wonder Woman on him, like kind of like a lasso.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Batman takes care of Ubu pretty quickly, and Raz is just like, "It is time we finally finish this," and so Roz is just like, well, you're shirtless. I should be shirtless too, don't you think? So he takes off his shirt and he like pulls out a sword, throws another sword to Batman. So like if you guys remember like when like the Arrow show where Ra's al Ghul fought like Oliver Queen in a sword fight on the cliffside, this is more or less what's happening here. Actually, this scene probably inspired that now that I think about it.
Well, yeah, because like basically all of like the good chunk of the villains in that show were Batman villains, so,
Yeah.
or at least the first season, or like or I can't remember like what it was, but for a good chunk, they're all like basically Batman villains.
And I like this sword fight. What did you think of it?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Yeah, so it's like yeah, I think yeah that the scene was from like one of the Daniel O'Neill comic books that you had
Hmm.
mentioned earlier.
And it
Yeah,
kind of looks like one of those like Errol Flynn, like Robin Hood or pirate movies, like just like the swashbuckling of it all. Like, yeah, it was really cool as they're like fighting their way like up the stairs towards like the Lazarus pit. And oh yeah, Batman throws a sword and it like hits the machine that's like, like the sequence
that like stops the countdown. Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah,
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 so
yeah,
like
yeah. And then that's where like Rage gets mad and like loses his footing and falls into the Lazarus pit, I think.
yeah, he essentially like you guys remember how like Obi-Wan kind of got knocked down by Darth Maul in Phantom Menace and like got like he's grabbing onto that like button. Well, pretty much that's what happens with Roz here, but like he's got like a sword like impaled in the side of the pit and Batman's like, "Give me your hand." And he's like, "No, I don't think so." And like basically decides it's time for me to rejoin the planet that I love so much. So he basically goes out like a martyr and decides like to like kind of outstretch arms. You know what? I think because remember how I said way back when we did Night of the Ninja when I thought that like that's how Ken Coyote Ken died. I think that I got him and Roz mixed up in this. I think that's why I thought that's how he died with his arms outstretched wide, like kind of like landing on his back inside the green juice. I'm like, oh okay. So like now it's starting to add up. Like
Yeah, let's combine the two episodes. Yeah, that'll definitely do it. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, like as you had mentioned, like any living thing that goes to the Lazarus pit seemingly dies. And so Batman's kind of realizing like Ra's just like unalived himself, and Talia's like standing over the pit and she's got like a tear like running down her face. And that's when we have like the kind of like wrapping things up because we have this like really good shot of so I love like Talia is just like, what am I, your prisoner? It's like you managed to like pull a gun on him on the last episode, and like here you're just like, oh, I'm just so helpless. Like, like you should be happy. Like your dad is gone. You can run your dad's organization like you've always wanted to. Like, and yeah, so like Robin's just kind of waiting there, like on the airstrip to pick him up. I love how like Robin's got to be thinking like, Bruce, what happened to your shirt? Like,
Yeah, probably not the weirdest thing Robin's seen. So,
probably not. Yeah, yeah.
so
So,
so like when she asks like if she's his prisoner, she just like gives her a kiss instead of really just say I guess say thank you and goodbye sort of thing. So then they take off.
and
And
that's
then
when we have a
yeah,
quick cut to
back to Lazarus Pit. You just hear like the Rajal Ghul laughing, and then he like goes out of the pit. So you know he's not yeah, it's not like dead.
how did he climb his way up the pit?
Well, I imagine like yeah, like go with the craziness of getting out. He probably has like enhanced strength for like momentarily what he's still in his like Lazarus Pit rage.
He's like digging his fingernails in
Yeah,
like a cat, like
yeah,
scratching up the walls.
yeah.
Like,
So what would you give this episode out of five Ubu servants?
I am going to give it 4.5 out of 5 ubus. It's not a perfect two-parter. It definitely justifies being a two-parter.
Yeah, yeah.
And
As I said, like probably like the second two-parter that actually has enough story to justify the second episode. Yeah, it doesn't fall flat with for 5 minutes and be like, I guess we need to fill the rest of the episode.
yeah. And like the scale of the story is really good. And, it's cool seeing Batman, like, on a globe-trotting adventure. And Ra's al Ghul lives up to his reputation since we last saw that little stinger and off balance. So, yeah, no, I thought it was really good. How about you?
Yeah, I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Yeah, it's a good adaptation of Rajah Ghul to bring him into the animated universe and stuff. And definitely, I remember seeing this two-parter as like one of the ones that like stuck in my mind just for him being all crazy in the Lazarus pits and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, definitely give it a 4 out of 5. But yes, thank you for joining us in the Batcave this week to talk about Batman the Animated Series. Next week's episode will be his Silicon Soul, which I think is the second Hard Act episode, which will be good. You can follow us on Twitter/X at Beyond Backcast, on Instagram at Beyond the Backcast. We are on YouTube now as well at youtube.com/at Beyond the Backcast. Check us out there, rate, review, subscribe there, or wherever you find your podcast where you listen to us now. That'll help us out. And where can we find you on the internet, Braden?
You can find me on Instagram at Alfred is Zaddy, and we can also have you guys on our Beyond the Backcast Instagram, and you can go there, find our link tree to our Discord where we have the Batcave talking about all kinds of Batman related stories, movies, and video games.
Yes, and you can follow me on my personal Instagram at Stunkjumpin. And as I said, thanks for joining us in the Batcave to talk about Batman the Animated Series. Goodbye, good chums. Goodbye.